Let's talk about your Venus and Mars aspects in astrology. So Venus represents your feminine side, feminine aspect of you, and Mars represents a masculine, more aggressive part of you. And looking at the aspect, and we have 5: conjunction, sextile, trine, opposition, and square. We can tell whether these energies are integrated or not, and whether you can express them easily and efficiently. This is very important because it shows how you behave in relationships, the tendencies, the thought patterns that you have, the expectations, potential sabotage, and whether it's easy for you to let go of your defenses as a female and just trust the person and submit, whether you're argumentative in relationships or not. Let's start with square and opposition because both will have a similar implication. So square and opposition people may have, first of all, feminine and masculine aspects are not integrated efficiently and they cannot express them fully. So Mars is me, it's selfish, it's the first house. You may be independent, but Venus is Libra, is merging with another person, sharing, right? Being considerate of another person, being diplomatic. So you may have this tendency between going back and forth, between to be independent, not being influenced by your partner, just having your environment for yourself, or being in relationship, being committed, sharing, having a partner. You may have this indecision, inner conflict when you're in relationship. Like you may be happy one day, but then the next day you feel like something's off, you're not fulfilled. So the main lesson with this one, it's hard to find fulfillment. Have Venus aspecting Mars square or opposition. This shows that the desires, the wants, what makes us happy on a soul level in relationship is not clearly defined, and it's not always easy to know what you want. So that's why you may feel like, oh, I want it now, but then tomorrow you're like, no, that Mars is reminding you, but you gotta be independent. What if they, whatever, mess up your flow? So you need to be aware of that. And there's also this not fulfillment and then sabotaging behavior happening where you feel like your partner is getting away with something. And you may want to call them out. You may be argumentative, or you may be in abusive relationship. So you may either take a role of a Mars or a Venus, meaning that you may be the one who is abusive verbally or otherwise. If your Mars is in Gemini, Libra not so much, but Aquarius, Virgo, may be abusive, and Sagittarius. But if it's water, not so much. Actually, between going into the aggressive side or being in the Venus side. You may be a victim in relationship, and Mars would be your partner, the aggressor. For Venus opposite Mars people, a little different because you guys don't have a middle ground at all. You are either too passive or too strict, too aggressive. So there is no in between because there is a tendency to go either or. And you may also feel like the world is aggressive, partners are aggressive towards you because Venus is me, my feelings, and when it's opposing a planet, it shows that the opposite planet is the world. So you see the world like a Mars. So you see the world in a Mars sense, image, aggressive, inconsiderate. Be aware of that because you're going to manifest it. When nothing works out in relationship and you're not fulfilled and you can't let go, change anything, you may go and sneak behind your partner's back. What opposition and square people experience no fulfillment, and they experience that because they get themselves in situations that don't bring long-term fulfillment. For them, also, sex may be nothing. They can just use partners like objects and not really feel nothing because, it's a lot of masculinity. Or they may be used for that, for the square and opposition people. But for the trine, it's not the same way. You know when to pull back, when to give what. But sometimes if you're too passive, it can happen with you because sextile trine can get lazy a little bit and get into the Venus side, so be aware. Now let's talk about conjunction, which is when a planet is positioned up to 3 degrees away from a planet. So this forms a conjunction, and we call it 3-degree orb between planets. Conjunction can go either negative or positive way. It has a lot of energy, okay? So when we have 2 planets in conjunction with one another, this means that you have a concentration of Mars, which is aggression, masculinity, passion, and Venus in one house and one sign. So this places a lot of focus on your relationship. You may value relationship a lot and think in terms of relationship. When you make decisions, you may be thinking of another partner as well. Whether they do that or not, we don't know. But that's a tendency because, relationship and forming connections and being in romantic partnership is just very important because it allows you to focus on your own life and your career. But it can also place a lot of emphasis on that area where you're just like getting in relationship for no reason, and you may choose partners who don't really want, but you do that because you think that you constantly need to be in a relationship. You may also have sex way early in relationship, so be aware of that. Give yourself too easily. That's not what we want to do, okay? You may also just like overthink relationship because for you that's the main focus, and obviously depending on other indicators in the chart, but planets that indicate love and romance and sex just places a lot of importance on that area, and you may have a lot of tendencies to overthink the connection and stuff like that. Because, astrology aspects allow you to be aware of your tendencies in certain areas. Because if you're not aware of what's causing that, and it's actually very healing because you're not alone, you won't be able to change anything. You need to become aware. That's the first step. Then you're going to accept. And then you're going to, okay, now how can I fix it? Okay? Yeah, I hope you like this video. Follow for more.